Konnichiwa, y'all, and welcome to the 10 at 10 for November 12th of 2024, y'all. We've got some great trees lined up for you. I'm Matt at MrMaple, and that's my brother Tim.
Now, guys, go ahead and tell Matt an early happy birthday. His birthday's tomorrow, the 13th, and he won't have a 10 at 10 video on that day. Let's just go ahead and show him some love today here on the comments. Y'all, we're gonna start off today with Acer Hpalatum Allen's Gold. This is an amazing selection we've been able to bring back a few times here at MrMaple. Well, we had some more at the Buckholtz farm, so I said, y'all been loving it so much, we're bringing it back again.
This is a dope plant. You know this, guys. This one is known for having some of the best orange spring color, but it's set next level because not only is this a spring interest tree, it's also a pine bark Japanese maple, making this a super cool one, not only for the landscape, but for the bonsai people as well. This one starts to develop a fissured bark, a lot like Nishikigawa. Almost gets a little bit more buckled to it, almost more Arakawa-like as it ages. It is a little slower to develop than Arakawa, but it definitely comes, guys. It's so cool. You actually get this incredible neon orange color in the early spring to it. It can almost rival that of Kristen Star.
Yeah, the spring color is spectacular. That's actually why it was selected, was that spring color. You know, the pine bark was something we realized down the road after it had already been selected. And it's just like this really cool, because it's the first time we've had a tree that has a spring interest and a tree that has that pine bark as well. Next level tree. I think it's a game changer when it comes in the industry. I think it's gonna be a fun one for people to try to do bonsai with, because when you get that pine bark and you get the spring interest, it's a winner all the way around.
Very heat tolerant. It's going to work zones 5 through 9s. Handled a sun and a lot of high heat places. I know a lot of people in Texas are singing this one's praises. Great durability on this one. Now, this one's also pretty quick grower too, at over a foot of growth a year. Not uncommon for it to be, 10 foot in 10 years kind of size range. Great plant there. If you are a bonsai guy, these are grafted. You could always do air layers off these. I recommend planting a grafted tree and then creating material from it so you get endless stuff. All right, Tim, what do we got next?
Guys, next up, we got Acer Hpalatum Aridne. We had a small set of these that I said, man, this is such a cool tree. Next level reticulated selection by Esfeld Nursery. Cor van Gelderen named this after his daughter. And we have a whole podcast with him where he discusses that. You can go check that out.
Aridne, amazing reticulated form. Think of it like an addition to the Ghost series in some ways. You got that reticulatedness to it. A lot of Americans are more familiar with the Ghost series, but there's a whole world of amazing reticulatum style Japanese maples. I like this one for its elongated, heavily, almost more Matsumuri style leaf, so the leaf's more divided than many of the other reticulated forms. Just gives it a little something extra on there. Great red fall colors, oranges to reds there in the fall typically. This one kind of gets that translucent hue to it though. I almost feel like it's so next level, it's like you're looking into like a gym or something. Like it's got all those colors going on at once.
Yeah, the green veins are very prominent. You get some coral pink colors in the early spring. Then you really just get some nice creamy white later on in the season, but the green veins are so prominent, it's just outstanding. If you're growing this in full sun, you still get that amazing spring color. It does fade out for us here in the South in the reticulation, but the new growth in the summer is a bright coral pink again. So it still has some amazing characteristics even in those summer months. And as you're seeing here, we're starting to see this bright red fall color that Aridne is known for.
More of an upright V shape, great structure to it, tends to get a little wide. An 8-foot tall tree, maybe 6 foot wide, so not super wide, but it has more of a multi-branched approach to it. I think you're going to love this one in the landscape. It's a showstopper, and I think one probably it's underrated. Like one you don't see enough. I think it's so next level. Grab an Aridne today. All right, you guys keep asking for it, so it's back. We got Aconitafolium, aka the Dancing Peacock, Maiku Jaku. Now we typically go with Maiku Jaku. We find that's the original name from Japan. And it's the most poetic. It means dancing peacock in Japanese. Love this plant. Probably our best-selling Acer japonicum of all time here at MrMaple.
Yeah, this is a classic. This is my first Acer japonicum selection. And this is what I typically think of when I think of the full moon.
Did you select this one?
We had this at MrMaple. It was one of Dad's first 20 Japanese maples he had in his yard. And to me, this is a next level Acer japonicum. The leaves are so deeply divided. It's extremely ornamental out there in the garden. And it just gives you this tropical feel. And then when the fall color hits, which is very consistent with, it is to die for.
Yeah, I love it. Maybe one of the most showy trees in my garden. I get out there and compliment my wife with it every year. I'm like, babe, you look better in a Japanese maple in fall color. And it's normally the Maiku Jaku I'm pointing out when I say that. And it is blazing oranges, reds, yellows, all at the same time. I've had some incredible shades of orange on it this season, with then darker reds late. it's one of the best fall color trees you can grow. You know, it's more divided. That Dancing Peacock has that more divided leaf as well. Makes it really unique amongst japonicums. Probably the most popular of them all. We've got some great size 1 gallons in here today. I think you're going to love these. Tends to be another multi-stem tree, so japonicums want to grow very multi-stemmed as well. Very cool plant. 10 to 12 foot is the kind of time frame, even a 15-year period. So not a giant there. I do recommend in your hotter zones, giving your japonicums late day shade in your hotter zones. You'll have better success there. But showstopper, I've got this in a good bit of sun here in Western North Carolina. The spring tassel flowers, the fall color, it's one of my all-time favorite trees.
And shout out to Sean, who lets us use his Meikujaku fall color photo, as well as the Fire Glow photo and the Osakazuki photos in Canada. All those are lighting up again. He's sharing all the photos on social media right now of just this amazing fall color. If you're not part of the Mr. Maple Friends group on Facebook, make sure you go get involved there. We got a great community of people right there on Facebook.
Over 17,000 people are involved there, sharing pictures. There's chat groups now. There's all kinds of great ways to learn about maples. Mr. Maple Friends group on Facebook, one of the best ways to do it. Bringing it today with the heat, guys, we've got Amagi Shiguri. Now, this is Acer Palmatum Amagi Shiguri. This is another awesome tree. I mean, these are already out of leaf, but look at the sizes on these bad boys. I mean, these are great sizes right now, well branched, and from our Buckholz farm. Amagi Shiguri, one of my favorite reticulated Japanese maples.
I like it because it's slow growing. It's one of the slower growing of those reticulated styles, especially of the darker leaves. It makes a great container plant because of that. It sort of grows upwards and typically arches outwards a little bit and just creates this unique shape. I like to give this some protection from the hot afternoon sun in the south, but I have seen this tree even, you know, in deeper shade give some like silver blue metallic colors, which are insane. But with a little bit of sunlight, you can get some unreal shades of lavender to purple that you don't get on many Japanese maples.
Yeah, it almost is one of those ones with a glossy sheen to it a little bit. You get some crazy shades. I love when it's almost more of that violet lavender kind of color. Mid-size, so think of this as a smaller one if you're comparing it to the Ghost. This one's typically 6 foot in 10 years, so much more compact. Makes it great for container gardens, patio planters, things like that. You can bring it kind of back into the landscape, enjoy it up close, that crazy spring color. Now, given this one late day shade, we'll hold that color into the summer longer. Absolutely amazing dark purples though, typically midsummer, and then bold reds in the fall. I love Amagi Shiguri. I think you're gonna love this one in your landscape. Makes a great plant because one of the things people like about this one is it doesn't outgrow their landscape. So it's a mid-sized to smaller sized upright, and it brings it for the drama.
Now it is one that sells out quickly, so do check out fast.
All right, y'all, next up we've got Pineis parviflora Fukai.
This is one of the craziest Japanese white pines. It's so unique because it has short needles, but those needles are banded with yellow variegation.
Oh, this is cool. It's so next level. I love this Japanese white pine. It kind of just screams Japanese gardening to you. This one's going to work zones 5 through 7 and has a nice mid-size habit to it to smaller size, typically around 5 to 6 feet by around 4 foot wide in a 10-year span. It's nice and dense. That tough look with that needle kind of just makes it look quintessential for the Japanese style garden.
Yeah, make sure you give your Japanese white pines plenty of good drainage. It's kind of a requirement for most Pineis parvifloras. But they are some of the most ornamental and unique pines of them all. They go so well in the Japanese garden. And this one, giving that variegated needle, it is next level. And that's the thing that I love about these conifers is they can give a unique interest to pair with your Japanese maples. And this one does it very well.
All right, y'all, we're bringing back some small flamethrowers. These are great sizes. They're in our small quartz cups. Don't let them fool you. It's a great way to pick up a flamethrower at a really good price.
Yeah, these flamethrowers ship in our 1 gallon boxes, so they'll be a little bit cheaper to ship than some of our XL 1 gallons we had before. These are about the size of a 1 gallon though in a quart. And these were developed through tissue culture, so you've got a tree that's going to be very resistant to a lot of things out there in the landscape and is going to grow very well, going to be hardy for you. And the colors on flamethrower are what make this tree famous. You've got orange-red new growth that just sort of malts down to reds, oranges, and then the yellows in the older growth, and just continues to do that all season long. The peak time frame for this, I personally think, is the summer, when you really are growing this tree with some sunlight, and you really just get all those crazy colors all at once.
We're always looking at ways to get you guys deals off from this way, make them really affordable. Great sizes, as Tim said. I mean, these are already a 1 gallon size. This one, you'll see it in Europe sold as Eternal Flame. Kind of like the American flamethrower a little better. It's got a little more America to it. I feel like the eagle screams a little bit when you say flamethrower. Pretty cool. Just a great all-around plant, y'all. I think you're going to love this one. If you've seen it, you're going to love it. The colors are nuts. You can give these flamethrowers, they're a southeastern native. You can give them a good bit of sun. They grow quickly. They develop into a nice sized plant. But really what makes everybody crazy about these, that yellow, that red, that blazing orange, all those colors on there at once make this just one of the most flashy, cool plants in the landscape. And it's a native.
And the heart-shaped leaves are very attractive. I'm a foliage person, but this is a red bud, y'all. It does bloom with pink-purple blooms in the early spring before those leaves come out. So you get something that is both blooming, it's a native, you get great colors on the leaves. It's a win-win all the way around.
Grab you a flamethrower today. All right, y'all, let's bring back Acer Hpalatum Jim's Memory. This is a great broom, compact, dense. I love its structure, I love its color. I think it could become a fan favorite as it gets out there more.
Check out the sizes on these two, some phenomenal sizes on Jim's Memory. It kind of has that Hime Sojo type thing going on where it's going to be tight and dense with purple leaves. But I'm telling you, there's something about this tree that's just very attractive and beautiful and draws you into it. I know every time I see a specimen of this in a large container at Buckholz or in the ground, I look at that and I say, man, that's a beautiful tree. What is it? And it shocks me every time because this tree is just simply amazing.
A little more structurally upright than Hime Sojo. Dense, multi-stemmed, crazy color changes. I love in summer when you get dark red on the older growth and bright pink red on the new growth. Really kind of gives it a two-tone approach. It's really interesting. This tree wants to be multi-stem, typically around 6 foot in 10 years. Very dense though, full dense canopy to it. I think you're gonna love this one for container gardening to give you a little bit more height than your traditional broom, but not something that's gonna be tall like Twombly's Red Sentinel. So it's kind of right in that middle range there. These are great sizes too. These 1 gallons are well developed, ready to go out, look great in a container. You can plant them now and be ready for spring. This one's one by our friend Bob McCaffrey that I think is so next level.
Yeah, it's named after Jim Schmidt of Don Schmidt Nursery, who passed away, who, you know, was a legend in maples. And this plant is simply amazing. I think more people are going to love growing this tree as a container tree for those small places in the garden. It's just very beautiful. You look at the leaves on it, and it just has this cartoon-like appearance, very bubbly on the leaves. This is a showy dwarf red Japanese maple that people need to be growing.
A lot of great stuff for the container gardeners today. Grab you one. All right, man, what do we got next?
Guys, we got Hydrangea serrata, Coco no Yama. I'm hoping I'm saying that right, Coco no Yama. It is a hydrangea that I fell in love with at the J.C. Ralston Arboretum. There at the Lath House, they had one there in the ground. And I just kept seeing it, and it kept drawing me to it because it just has this, you know, really speckled foliage that's just really beautiful. Yeah,
Mark Weatherden there got us our start on this one because Tim and I reacted so strongly to it. We're like, this is the coolest thing. We like variegated plants, and when you get a variegated hydrangea, you not only have the flower, but you also have the foliage. So you got something going on. And like Tim said earlier, we're foliage guys, so we really get attracted to that kind of crisp, clean foliage. The variegation on this one's very nice. It kind of has a almost floating cloud-like a feel to it, where it has that speckled variegation in it.
And so this is a Hydrangea serrata. It's a mountain hydrangea. It's going to stay smaller in that 3 to 4 feet in height by 3 to 4 foot in width kind of size. And the blooms on it are kind of lace cap. You get this really beautiful lacy type bloom to it that can be pink to purple depending on the pH of your soil.
Give this one some shade in your hotter zones. That'll peak up the variegation but also give you better blooming. You don't want to give it too much sun in your hotter spots. But you guys know hydrangeas are tough as nails. They're easy to grow. They keep rewarding you. They keep coming back every year. The flowers are great. I think you're going to love this one for the foliage, though. It really adds an extra piece to the garden, ornamental quality that I think is super next level. All right, guys, next up, we've got Acer Hpalatum Bella. Now, this is a fun one brought to you from our friend who found Wildfire and our friend who found the original Red Jaguar. We got to put the name Red Jaguar on that one for him, but he's got some hits. Bella coming from the same farm there. This is a nice, compact, dense dwarf that I think is going to give you a lot of what you like about Taro Yama. A little bit taller, kind of has a twisting approach to it. It fits in a little bit with that Makawa family. Nice, lush green bark, elongated leaves. Man, I'm a little disappointed they already dropped the leaf because a week ago, these things were neon yellow orange. Like, I probably should have got them on camera there in fall color. I haven't never noted this as being one of my favorite fall color trees until this year. Absolutely blew me away in the fall color.
Yeah, I remember when we were going through Jason's seedlings, and he had all these different seedlings in 15 gallons, and Bella stood out to us among them all, and I said, I gotta have it. So we bought the original, brought it back, planted it at MrMaple.
It's actually on our bank now.
Yeah, and it just has this twisting leaf to it that is, it just you know, captivates you. The twisting foliage, it has this nice upright, dense, compact shape, and it's a next level tree. It sells out quickly. We had some of these at our Buckholtz farm, and I said, guys, we're bringing them to Mr. Maple.
Bella, it's a great name for this one. It's a beautiful plant. I think you're going to love it. It adds a lot to the landscape. It fits in with a lot of the Makawa family. It's great for the container garden. It's not quite as tight as Makawa. It reminds me a little bit more stretched out like Angel the Prince, or even more like Taro Yama in its growth rate. But I mean, talk about a perfect pairing. You could put this with something like Angel the Prince or Taro Yama and have a little slightly larger Makawa area.
Kuranajishi.
Right, put this behind your Makawa collection so it gets a little bigger behind some of those. But man, I love Bella. And I can't say enough good things about that fall color. That was just really incredible. Yeah, you get some pink glossy hues over it in the spring like a blushing, but that fall color this year was, I mean, peak.
Just pink oranges infused in there, y'all. Next level tree. You know, grab you one today. Again, this is one that will sell out quickly this morning.
Mr. Maple Classic coming back, y'all. We got a Gold Digger.
Yeah, Gold Digger is a selection by our friend Laddie Munger. We got to put the name on it. We introduced it here at Mr. Maple. And it is a more yellow bark Japanese maple. In deep shade, you do get a almost pure yellow. With a little bit of sunlight, you start to get some of these orange coral pink hues in the bark as well.
Don't let this one fool you. A lot of times going into winter, it'll get very red too. So a lot of people think, oh, it's a red. This bark just keeps changing, y'all. I love it. It's got pink hues to the foliage in the early spring as well, making it super next level. You kind of get a blushing of pink over the green, which is really pretty. This one's fun though. The bark can get these yellows to oranges in it, kind of gives you this golden hue overall. I've really been impressed with the older tree at Laddie's because even that tree had a ton of yellow in the older bark. Just a showpiece. This one's gonna work zone 6 through 9. Very heat tolerant, but very colorful. Makes a great pairing with any of your traditional coral barks or bihu because it offsets bihu a good bit in the color. This one's not just gonna be the same color of yellow as bihu. It actually has a lot more going on in there.
And during the fall, I know Matt talked about how you can get some of those reds in there. That's actually on the bark itself. On the leaves in the fall, you can really get some nice shades of orange, which is pretty unique for many of the coral bark selections. Often with those, you often get more of yellows and then maybe some reds in there. With Gold Digger, you get a lot more oranges.
Great sizes on these Gold Diggers. Get them, enjoy them all winter. Think you're gonna love this one. See what all the hype's about on this one. It's a good plant.
So y'all, that was 10 of the 20 trees getting listed today at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on MrMaple.com. The other 10 trees, yes, that's right, we're listing 20, is in that weekly email. You can check those out early or see them on MrMaple.com at 10 a.m.
Thanks, y'all. We appreciate your business. Take care.
God bless.
Have a great day.